Okay, this is going to be my response to truthslayers ROH Who Are They Missing video, where basically he talks about Ring of Honor being bought by the Sinclair Group, which is the big news story at the moment for TNA Wrestling, and he basically wants us to add to a bit of a discussion of who should be in the ROH main event scene, people who we could put up there and we could say, right, these guys could be main event in any company, but they are in ROH for a reason. This is a reason to watch ROH because we have these top guys as our main guys. We have these top wrestlers in the world. They could main event anywhere, but we've got them right here in ROH. So yeah, he threw up a few names, and the first one I'd think off the top of my head should be in the ROH main event scene is Chris Hero. The guy's got the look, he's got the charisma. I think he's very good in the ring, and it's just an all-around total package in my opinion for what a wrestler should be, a main event wrestler. He's like around 31 years old, 32 years old. I had a look on Wikipedia before to have a look at his like timeline to see how long he's got left in the business, and he could wrestle for another 10-15 years or another 10 years in a main event scene. So yeah, I think this is one of the things that they should do just about the time where ROH moves on to satellite TV, which the Sinclair broadcast group's doing. I don't know if it's satellite TV or terrestrial TV. I don't know what the television system is like in America, but basically they're getting a television deal where they're going to be available to like a quarter of America basically, and basically I keep saying basically, sorry. Yeah, I think Chris Hero should be the main guy that they should put up there. Basically, when they get on TV, there you go. Again, I said basically. Anyway, when they get on TV, I think that's when they should get Chris Hero's pushed at, and he should break off from Claudio, maybe have a little feud there, and then go on to beat Eddie Edwards for the world title. And then now they're on TV, they're being noticed by people. This would be the guy they push forward. Sort of like when WWF were breaking through and they had Hulk Hogan. Obviously, it's a totally different thing because Hulk Hogan's Hulk Hogan and Chris Hero's no. On a totally different level, but still, as they're just being noticed by more people, Chris Hero will be the guy who they have forward, and he'll look like a respectable champion. He'll look like somebody you could put on WWE Raw one night to face John Cena. It wouldn't look any different, in my opinion. I think he'd fit perfectly into the WWE main event scene. I always saw him as sort of like an Edge character, like not as a character, but like sort of interchangeable with Edge. They have like a similar look and similar size and whatnot, and I think they could be quite interchangeable. And Edge was quite successful, and obviously my last video was about Edge and his retirement and how a lot of people are missing him, so Chris Hero could be a good replacement for that, but I'd like to keep it in ROH, and I think they should push him towards the main event scene. Claudio Castagnoli, his tag team partner, not so much. He's a big guy. The WWE did have him for was it like a year or something in OVW, maybe. I don't think it was FCW, I think it was OVW, and they didn't like him, so they sent him back to WWE ROH, didn't they? I believe that's what has happened. Claudio, again, he's around 30 years old, but I don't see that. When I look at him, I don't see star, I don't see superstar, I just see wrestler. And that's the difference between a guy like Chris Hero and a guy like Claudio Castagnoli, that Chris Hero, he looks like a superstar, and if you put a world title on him, it will look like he is somebody, whereas with Claudio Castagnoli, if you put a world title on him, it will look like he's just some wrestler, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy his work, but I don't see him as the main guy in a company. Who else was mentioned in that video? Guys like Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, they're good, but they're small men, and they don't have the all-around package of a small man to make a really good like heavyweight small man, if you understand what I'm saying, like a good world champion small man, like an Eddie Guerrero and a Chris Benoit were really small men, but they were just such awesome workers. And don't get me wrong, Eddie Edwards and David Richards are both good workers, but they're not on that higher level of just superbness that Guerrero and Benoit were, where they deserve to be world champion. So I don't think Eddie Edwards and Richards should be like as world champion, but I do think they could like fit into the main event scene in ROH, sort of challenge for the title 1 month, sort of like a Sheamus in WWE, where you can challenge for the title a month and you won't look out of place, but then when he drops back down into like the mid card, again it doesn't seem strange. Who else? There's another person who I was thinking of before and is just slipped my mind altogether, to be honest. Oh, Shelton Benjamin. I think Shelton Benjamin would be a really good world champion in ROH. It could be the chance to really push him. And if he held the title for like 6 months, it would sort of be like that. Is vindication the right word? Sort of like he's finally done it. He's finally in his career won that big one. He's won the world title, and it would make by him saying, "Oh, finally won the big one," it'll make the ROH title look like that even a bit bigger. That now he's saying that this is one of the big ones. I finally won the big one. If he's saying it's the big one, and Shelton Benjamin is known from his WWF days, so he's people, the fans can relate to him more, then the fans will relate to the title, world title, ROH world title more. I personally feel. As far as getting other people in from other companies, there's nobody I can think of from the American indie scene. Oh, Tommaso Ciampa is another person who I think they could push into that main event scene, because I had a look on Wikipedia about him as well before, and it said that he's like only 5'11", but he looks so much bigger on the TV screen, and he does have this presence of an actual superstar, and I think he wouldn't look out of place with a world title around his waist, and if he just works a little bit harder, and that's sorry, no, don't mean work harder, if he just keeps working as hard as he seems to be doing, and he gets better in the ring, and then he will fit the role of the ROH fans do like to see of the great in-ring worker, then as long as he can up it that little bit, both with his look and with his in-ring ability, then he could make a really good champion, I feel. And yeah, so Ciampa, Benjamin, Chris Hero, those could be the three guys who you could keep the world title on for the next 5 years. Well, no, what I say 5 years is a bit excessive, isn't it? But you could keep those three guys in the main event scene for the next 5 years easily, and I personally wouldn't get bored of that. Obviously, you'd have to mix in other guys in, but if you keep involving those guys in the main event, those three against other people, I think that would be like really entertaining. It'd be a lot more entertaining than the likes of, let's say, Orton, Cena, and I kind of think Miz, for example. It'd be a lot more entertaining than having them three as the top of your company and then going up against different guys every month, because those guys aren't as good in the ring. They do have those larger than life personalities, but these guys can really deliver in the ring and be far more entertaining. El Generico, I think El Generico he's an outside bet because he doesn't really have the look of a superstar. He's a little pale, he looks a bit like, I can't really explain it, looks very, obviously El Generico is very generic, that's the perfect way to describe him really. I remember in the old days, about 10-12 years ago, I got this Goldberg wrestling toy when I was like 10 years old, and it came with just this generic guy in a mask, and it looks exactly like El Generico. It's the black and the red, and he's topless, and then he's just wearing the red mask or the black mask. I can't remember what the guy was wearing, but yeah, it looks exactly like El Generico, and it just looks very plain. And I know it's sort of a part of his gimmick, but if you just vamped it up a little bit with the black like he was doing towards the end of the Kevin Steen feud, it would look a bit more edgy and a bit more interesting, and I think it could really fit in like a main event picture. But yeah, as far as bringing in other people, I know you mentioned Japan, and I don't really know too much about Japan. I followed certain companies like Noah, Dragon Gate for like a year and a half now, but I don't know what like the wage structure over there is like. People I've heard have said that certain companies like Noah are in decline and they're struggling to fill the houses and sell out shows and stuff like that. So I don't know what the finances are like over there, whether guys will think of moving to America if ROH can pump more money into the company and then pay guys bigger contracts like the Japanese guys, whether they'll be able to afford them. I'm not too sure, but I'd like to see someone like, someone like Prince Devitt. I think he'd be a really good fit because he looks really good. Who's his tag team partner? Is it Ryosuke Takaguchi or something like that? I think he's alright. Kota Ibushi, he's very good. Kenny Omega. I'm not too big of a fan of Kenny Omega in all honesty, but I'm trying to think of guys from Dragon Gate that I'd like to see in. I think he's called Masaki Mochizuki. I'd really like to see him in ROH. That'd be really interesting. He's my favourite guy in Dragon Gate. Yeah, but apart from that, American Indies, I can't think of anyone from the American indie scene that I'd like to see in ROH. Johnny Gargano would be like alright in ROH, but not in the world title scene. Austin Aries again, I don't see him as a world title contender. I see him as just a alright guy. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the matter, and please comment down below if you're watching this video, like or dislike or whatever, and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Thank you for watching, and with that I'm out. See you later.